Episode 28, The Return Trip, with the trip dates being December 2nd through December 11th. This is just our return trip from Crescent City back to the greater Nashville, more specifically the Smyrna area of Tennessee. And I didn't say this in the last episode, but we are back to recording in the travel trailer. We're not on a trip in the van, so we're not recording in the van. We are recording the previous episode and this episode in the comfort of the RV.
Because the van's not comfortable.
What do you mean?
Why is the trailer comfortable, but the van's not?
I don't know, because I'm sitting in a plush recliner right now.
You've been laying on the bed when you record in the van.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I'm not saying the van's not comfortable. It was just a statement.
And I forgot to say, when I talked about the couple of things that we did before we left Crescent City, the Redwood hikes, I also forgot to mention that we went to Azalea Park.
Oh, we did go to Azalea Park for the Christmas lights?
Azalea Park in Brookings, Oregon does a big Christmas lights display every year. I think I read somewhere that it's a 4-acre park, and there were tons of lights. We walked through over, like an hour and a half maybe. I mean, we were going slow because we were with friends and talking and stuff, and Sandy was doing some sniffing, but it's $4 a person, so really cheap, really reasonable, and it was a really good lights display. So if you're ever in the area around Christmas, that's a good thing to go do if you're interested.
Yeah, the Azalea Park Christmas light display was really, really cool. I'm not disappointed we did that, and it was like $4 to get in.
You obviously weren't listening to me just now because I already said that.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Okay.
You were distracted, apparently.
I was messing with the mic. I was trying to get the mic placed.
So we did that the day before we left, and then the next morning we got up and we left, and we decided to take a new route that we have not taken with the travel trailer before. We left Crescent City and went south on 101 down to the Eureka area, and then we took 299 over to Redding, which I was happy with that way. I mean, I wasn't driving the truck and travel trailer.
No, I thought it was fine. I didn't have an issue with the way we went. I thought the way we went was just fine.
About the easiest way to go.
It's as good as 101 can get for the direction that we had to go. I still prefer 101 to the north, but now there are some sections to the north that are getting beat up, so it's not the best anymore going north anyway. And if we go north, then you have to go all the way to Bandon to break east. Yeah. So no, I thought going south was fine.
So we did that, and then the first couple days of the trip were 3 days of the trip, I think, were just driving. I think there were some pictures that I didn't take. Some donuts that I didn't take pictures of. Where was our first donut stop?
That's what I was looking at right now. So we stopped in Willows, which is south of Red Bluff. It's in between Sacramento and Red Bluff. And we went...
On I-5? Were
no.
we on 5 at that point?
Yeah. It is right off I-5.
That's the one where I turned to the left and you went over to the Walmart?
I went to the Walmart because the Walmart's right next to it, right down the road.
I did not take a picture of those donuts. What'd we get?
So we went to Donut Wheel, which is the donut shop in Willows, California.
Which we already had saved on maps as want to go.
It was already saved. We got an apple fritter. We got a glazed donut. We got donut holes. We got a blueberry cake. We got a crumb cake. We got a maple old-fashioned. And we got a cinnamon twist. And just looking at my notes without getting into everything specifically, it wasn't the best donuts that we've had. And on maps, I marked it as a bin, or you marked it as a bin already.
Okay.
So it's not a favorite.
That was the one we were talking to Mama while we were eating them, and we were like, some of them were pretty good, some of them are okay.
It was too crispy of an edge on the apple fritter for you, but I liked it. I said I would get the apple fritter again. I said a very, very good glazed donut. They weren't my favorite donut holes because I think they were
a little dry.
You probably liked them more than me because they weren't like overly sweet donut holes. The blueberry cake, great moisture and good blueberry flavor. I'm like getting into the notes.
I was gonna say, you said not
like,
without getting into everything.
Without getting into... Well, like, now that I read them, I'm like, well...
I mean, it was just hit or miss.
I'm complimentary, but it was very hit or miss.
Like, if you need a donut, sure, stop.
I don't need the crumb cake again. I don't need the maple old-fashioned again, and I don't need the cinnamon twist again. When we went because of the cinnamon twists... If you go and look at images of that donut shop of Wagon Wheel, you'll look at the cinnamon twists and be like, oh, this is why I wanted to go. Because it was the giant cinnamon twist that had, like, the crisp cinnamon.
Oh, gotcha.
So, without dragging this on any longer, Donut Wheel, decent donuts, but nowhere that you have to go. Definitely not a best of for us. And now this gets into the heart of the episode, which you're going to know from the title that this is more of a national park episode than anything else. We ended up going to White Sands, we went to Guadalupe Mountains, and we went to Carlsbad Caverns, all of which we have multiple videos for that will be out eventually. So if you'd like to see them sooner than later, feel free to leave a comment somewhere and let me know. Otherwise, they're just going to come out whenever they come out. I don't post anything out of order. Everything goes up in chronological order of what we do at the rate of which I can get it completed and posted. The podcast is really the only thing that comes out as quickly as possible following what we do.
The one thing before we got there worth mentioning.
Okay.
Is the rest area we stopped at.
Oh, the Roadrunner.
We stopped.
Am I allowed to say the Roadrunner with the
brush butthole?
Yeah, you said it.
So the I-10 eastbound rest area on the west side of Las Cruces, New Mexico, there were signs there. It's an award-winning rest area.
An award-winning rest area with 24-hour security. 24-hour
security, heated bathrooms, which is really nice because we stayed there that night and it got down into like the 30s.
It's well lit.
Well lit. It has a bunch of little picnic areas and it has how tall do you think he is? Like
a 16-foot tall Roadrunner.
Made out of recycled materials like shoes and
cell phones,
keyboards. And he's really cool. He's huge, and it was super fun to see. So if you're ever driving through I-10 eastbound near Las Cruces, it's worth a stop.
I thought it was a good rest area. It's the best rest area we hit the whole way back.
Yeah.
All factors considered. It was the cleanest. Mm-hmm. It had security.
So I know that's a weird thing to get excited about, but I did want to mention the rest area.
And it's definitely not a truck stop. And there's not plentiful parking for RVs, but there is parking.
Yeah, and if you look at it on Google Maps, you can search the recycled Roadrunner sculpture, and it'll take you to the right rest area. So, that was that. But then we just drove, and then I think the next morning that we got up? Yeah, the next morning we got up, and we only had from that rest area to get to White Sands was hour and a half drive, maybe.
I don't remember.
Somewhere around there. Hour to an hour and a half. And White Sands doesn't open their gate until 7 a.m. in the morning. So we just got up. I think we left at 6. And we just drove straight there, right?
7 a.m. in the morning.
7 in the morning. Don't make fun of me. Don't be rude. So we got to White Sands. Drank our coffee in the parking lot.
Yeah, we got to White Sands early.
Because I took this picture at 7:47 a.m.
Okay.
And then we did 3 hikes in White Sands. We started off with Alkali Flat Trail, which is all the way back at the end of the road. We did not do the whole trail. I think it's a 5-mile lollipop loop. And we didn't want to walk 5 miles through the sand with the dog, so we just did almost a mile out and back, almost a mile out and then a mile back. And Sandy loved it. White Sands is a dog-friendly national park, which is fun, and she loved running in the sand.
I thought that one was neat simply because you can free roam through the dunes.
And it's like just sand. Like,
Yeah.
you get to the point at the beginning, there's some plants and stuff, but you get to a point where, like, it's just a bunch of sand dunes, which was pretty cool to see.
There were people way, way, way out wandering around. I didn't feel the need. I don't feel like there was much change to go from one spot to another.
Well, if we had gotten to the flat, alkali flat, it might have been different. Like out where it's the old, I think it was called alkali flat because it's like a, what's that place in Utah? Bonneville Salt Flat, like a salt flat type thing.
Okay.
I think. I'm not positive because, like I said, we didn't go all the way. So we did that. And then we drove back on the road a little bit to the Dune Life Nature Trail, which we did the whole loop. It was just under a mile.
I thought the nature trail was neat. I thought it was pretty. It was just a nice little walk.
Yeah, it was. Enjoyed doing that one. There were informative signs.
There were really
information signs on that one.
And they were good signs. Like, I don't know if they were new or if they were just well kept. It's like they're out in the sun, so they might just have to replace some more often than others. But it's like you complain about at some of the places that we go to where the signs are so outdated and so weathered.
Right.
That the images no longer show anything.
And then you can't read the writing on them anymore.
Yeah, it's impossible to decipher. So you look at it and you're just like, well, why is this here? Why hasn't it been replaced in the last 15 years?
Right.
So the signs were really neat. And it was just an easy trail. Like, it's not like we had set out to do an 8-mile, 3,000-foot hike or anything like that. We really just wanted to get out, explore White Sands. We knew it wasn't going to be either of our, like, top 3 or top 5 parks.
Yeah. So we did that one and then walked from there across the street to do the Playa Trail, which again was half a mile out and back to see a playa, which is a low elevation in an area that collects water when it rains, when water accumulates.
So it's a temporary part-time lake.
Yeah. Which was cool. I think one of my favorite things about that area was seeing the dunes and then just having the mountains off in the distance, because there are mountains all surrounding the area, so it was kind of cool to see that scenery or landscape.
Yeah, I enjoyed having that. It felt a lot like Death Valley in a sense, where you were in a valley and there was just an upswing of land all around you.
Yeah.
Or at least in the distance on one side. I don't know if it felt like a bowl necessarily, like it was a 360 view of just being surrounded by mountains, but it was neat. I liked it.
But we only spent, I don't know, maybe 4 hours there. Yeah, about 4 hours there. And then continued on to Guadalupe.
Yeah, we went to Guadalupe.
To the Carlsbad area.
Because the day that you wanted to go to Carlsbad Caverns. So...
Well, we just drove that day.
We just drove that day, but the next day got screwed up because Whitney wanted to do Carlsbad Caverns and then do Guadalupe, but we had to switch them because if you look on the website, Carlsbad Caverns says they only do scheduled tickets, not the day of. Like, you can't get same-day online tickets for Carlsbad.
After 5 a.m. Mountain time on the day of.
But if you go to the caverns, they have walk-up tickets available every day for the caverns. So I don't think they necessarily advertise it, but they do have walk-up timed entry tickets available for the day of.
And that may change if you're going during like peak season, which we obviously weren't because it was not very crowded while we were there.
No, not at all.
Watching the bats fly out of the cave does not take place in December. So if that's what you're going for, don't go in December like we did.
But it's a good time to go because we had the caverns I don't know about you. We walked through separately. When I went through Carlsbad Cavern, I went in the, what do they call, the natural entrance, and I went down and then did the big room at the end as a lollipop. And there were people there. There were some people that didn't have a lot of spatial awareness, but I could imagine it being so much worse if it was busy.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
when they have to do the timed entries.
Especially considering, well, I mean, we did a timed entry, but the way they
they have to do the timed entries because there are so many people. I could just see it being a complete madhouse.
But it's so weird how they do the timed entry, because the timed entry there is like, you buy your ticket for, say, 9:30, you can go anytime after 9:30. So you can buy the 9:30 ticket and then you can wait until 2 o'clock to go in.
Yeah.
It's not like you have an hour after you bought it. So like everybody could buy a 9:30 ticket and then everybody could go in at 2 o'clock. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird. It's not really like, it doesn't really regulate the times.
No.
But yeah, so we ended up doing that on
essentially the second day of our 2 days between Guadalupe Mountains and Carlsbad.
Which, for those two parks are only like 35 minutes apart. And there's some BLM land surrounding them. So we stayed at a BLM quote-unquote campground.
I thought it was fine.
Well, I say quote-unquote campground because there's nothing.
There's a dumpster.
There's a dumpster, yeah. There's a dumpster there, but there's no facilities, no hookups, no bathrooms. But it was called Chosa Campground.
The other one that you found was supposed to be nicer.
Was supposed to have a bathroom, but it's a lot smaller. But it has like designated sites. This was literally just a big square gravel,
free for all.
Not even a fence, kind of a fence. It was like
a fence.
Oh, was it a fence? Yeah, it was. No, it wasn't.
It was like one of those. It was a post fence.
Yeah. But it worked well for the area. If you don't need any hookups, it's great for the area because it's free. It felt safe.
There were people there all the time.
Yeah. So that's where we stayed.
And there were some nice rigs. So it's not like you go out there and you don't see anybody else out there and it's a dump and it's just like cheap rigs that are out there. There were 2 Super Cs that came in there that were both flat towing their Jeeps. And I mean, between the 2 of them, you're looking at close to $1 million.
And that was Chosa Campground. And I think, if I remember correctly, it's a 14-day stay limit. But the other one is called, I think, Sunset Reef Campground. And I think you can only stay there for 5 days at a time before you have to leave.
Okay.
So we stayed there, got settled the next morning because we stayed at the Walmart because we in Carlsbad the night before after we left White Sands, and then got up and brought the truck and travel trailer over and then headed into Guadalupe and did... What hike did we do? Devil's Hall.
Devil's Hall.
We did Devil's Hall, which I think I'm pretty certain that I enjoyed it more than you.
Yeah, we've already... Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a slot canyon of a sort. It was super cool.
It had very slot
limestone?
canyon... I'm not sure. It had very slot canyon sections to it. Otherwise, it was a wash. Not a wash like we didn't enjoy it, but it was washed out.
It was like a water wash.
It was a wash. Yeah. And you got to 2 areas that are separate from one another where they were both like very slot canyon like with the steep narrow walls.
Yeah, but it was just different than any other slot canyons we've been in. I think it was limestone. I'm not positive though.
One of the most interesting structures was the steps that people were going up on all fours to get up.
I didn't even take a picture of that.
That you and I went up on the side. That was super interesting.
I didn't even take a picture of it either. Ding dong. So we did that. It ended up being a 4.5 mile hike, 660 feet of elevation gain. You can do it different ways, like you can turn it into a loop, which we did not do and it'll be longer because we left Sandy in the
van.
in the van, so we didn't want to be gone all that long. So we did that, and then did we do the next one the same day? Yeah, we did. And then we walked from there to the visitor center and did a little trail at the visitor center, because there is one trail by the visitor center. I don't remember the name of it that Sandy's allowed on. It's a paved trail. She was not feeling it though, so she got carried for a good bit of it because she had been drugged that morning, so she would be calm for the hike. And then did we eat lunch there? No.
Did we leave and go to the next spot to eat lunch?
I don't remember.
I don't know. We ate lunch at some point. I don't remember where we ate lunch. It could have been at that trailhead, or it could have been...
It was at that trailhead, because that's where we watched the guy's vehicle getting searched.
Yep,
while we ate lunch.
Yeah, we set out. I sat out on my stool, and you sat on the step of the van.
We sat at the Devil's Hall trailhead, which also is the park campground, and we watched somebody's vehicle get searched because he had been
rockhounding,
chipping away at the rocks in the park on the trail to take them with him, and he got caught. People don't take the resources out of the park. Don't take the... Not resources.
Don't take them.
Don't take the park with you.
Yeah, leave the park where you found it whenever you go to a national park. If you're on federal land, just assume you're not allowed to go in with a hammer and chisel and take with you any of the natural not natural growth, natural resources.
I don't know what we're trying to say.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So that's where we ate lunch, now that I remember that. So we did that, and then got a hike recommendation from one of the rangers or volunteers in the visitor center, and we went over to the Smith Spring and Manzanita Spring Loop Trail, which is like 2 miles from the visitor center, 1.5 miles, 2 miles from the visitor center. Do you remember that hike?
Yeah, that was in Frijole Ranch.
Bean Ranch, you mean?
Bean Ranch. Yeah, I enjoyed the spring hike a lot, even though... Was it just 2 springs?
Well, technically, yes, but we missed the first one.
Well, I was going to say, it was supposed to be 2. We missed the first one. The second one was neat. It was pretty. It was very calming and peaceful, where the second spring was.
And I just love how green things get, where you can tell, like, when it's been raining, that's where it's wet.
Yeah.
Like where water runs, because it was so green up there compared to everything else.
I enjoyed that hike a lot. I thought that hike was very pretty.
If you want views of the surrounding area, that is a very good hike for it, because you could see out over the desert and you could see the surrounding mountains.
Yeah.
It ended up being a 2.6 mile hike with 400 feet of elevation gain. We were both tired on that hike.
Yeah, we were.
And I don't know why. I mean, we were at elevation.
I thought it was just me. I don't remember you ever saying that you were feeling it, but I was definitely feeling it.
I just, like, my body felt tired.
Yeah.
But it was a really pretty hike. I'm glad we did that one. I would not have done that one if she had not said something.
And I thought it was worth it.
Well, I had Frijole Trail picked out, which I still think would be a good trail, but it might have been longer to get to views. So we did that one. Is that the last thing that I recorded? Huh. Haven't done any hikes on all trails since then.
No, we finished it. Well, we did Guadalupe Mountains, and then the next day, I don't guess you would have recorded Carlsbad Caverns.
No, not on all trails. So we got up the next morning and drove to Carlsbad Caverns. And how'd that go for us?
So, like, we got there and realized that they had kennels, and it's the first national park we've ever been to that we have been aware of them or seen kennels. And one of the rangers saw us in the parking lot and was like, "Oh, you're going to kennel your dog, right?" And we were like, "No, we were just going to leave her in the van." And he was like, "Oh no, when you're on federal property, you can't leave a dog unattended in your vehicle." To which Whitney replied, "Well, it has AC and I forget what else you said.
Everything she needs. Temperature monitoring.
Yeah, I mean, we've got temperature
monitoring,
monitoring, a video camera set up to the Wi-Fi in the van, which we already knew we had a network connection. And he was like, no, you're not allowed to leave dogs unattended. So that freaked us out. So then it became a game of whether or not Sandy was going to be able to stay by herself in the van. And we were going to just leave her in the van and park way out at the end of the parking lot. And she started throwing a temper tantrum.
I didn't give her drugs early enough that day.
Yeah.
So she was not sleepy.
She was throwing a temper tantrum. So instead of Whitney and I being able to do the tour together, I went and did the caverns first and recorded, and then Whitney went in and did them the opposite direction
the
of
wrong
me.
way.
Not even on purpose.
Not on purpose. Ugh.
But I thought the caverns were amazing. I don't think that the caverns have as impressive structures,
like formations
as other caves we've been in. Where was all the box work?
Wind Cave, I think.
So Wind Cave is amazing for some of the formations, although I think the problem with Carlsbad Caverns is it's so big.
It's so big.
And there's so much to take in, and there are so many things. They would have to have like a balcony walkway, multiple stories suspended in the air in order for you to get up into the ceiling of this cave to be able to see some of the structures that are in this cave. You could fit a city in this cave. You could fit Crescent City in Carlsbad Caverns.
And I think it's funny you say that, because I don't think we talked about that, because you came out and then I was going to go in and I was like, how was it? And you were like, I'm not saying anything.
No, I didn't want to tell you anything that I thought about it before you went in.
So I didn't know what you thought of it. And then like when I was walking through it, first of all, I accidentally went in the wrong way because I was like, where do I go? And you were like, go in the visitor center and walk towards the back right. So I go in the visitor center, I have my ticket, and I'm walking towards the back right, and somebody looks at me and they're like, are you looking for the elevator? And I was like, yeah.
You weren't looking for the
elevator. I was
elevator.
not looking for the elevator. I was looking for the natural entrance. Wouldn't you think that that's what they would say? Are you looking for the natural entrance? Like, are you looking for where most people go in? Why would you say, are you looking for the elevator?
And it's funny, too, because when I went and got the ticket, the ranger was not receptive to the idea of me taking the elevator down and walking out the natural entrance. And then when I was leaving and I saw other guests and told them that your idea was to take the elevator down and go out the natural entrance, they were like, oh, heck no, definitely not.
And then, I don't remember if I told you either, it threw me off because there were 2 other people getting on the elevator.
Really?
So I thought that was like, and then I was halfway down the elevator and I was like, crap. This is not what I was supposed to be doing.
No, you were
but I was
supposed to
too
go
embarrassed to go up and then go out the other way. So I was just committed at that point.
Nah.
But anyways, what I was starting to say is I thought it was really interesting that you said that the formations weren't as impressive, because like I got down there and I was like, it's really cool for the sheer size of it. Mm-hmm. But like you said, the formations, like there were a couple of cool spots, and we already talked about these, like I think it was called Fairyland was a really cool little area. It almost looked like a little city.
Fairyland was really neat. And then they had the Chinese theater?
The Chinese theater and the Russian theater?
They had the 2
Is that what it
theaters,
was?
and I thought the theaters were really, really cool.
And then the
Silent Bell.
So those were, I thought it was funny. We had kind of the same favorite areas. And then one of my absolute favorite things was the rope. I just thought that was hilarious.
I didn't think much of it. I was just like, well, there's a rope left over from somebody exploring.
But you also didn't read any of the signs, and I did read signs.
I'm wondering how the signs are going to come out on the video. I was trying to get out of the cave to come back to you so that... I don't know. I don't like being separated.
We survived. But yeah, it was really cool. I have to sneeze. So, yeah, that was our time in those 3 national parks. We enjoyed it.
I I feel like Guadalupe Mountains is the most obvious choice for the park that we enjoyed the most. Because it's more of our style park.
Well, I do think so. The loop road at Carlsbad is closed right now, I think, from like flood damage from, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago or something. And you can get to hiking trails off of that road, but all of those trails are closed because you can't get to them right now. So I do think we could do some enjoyable hiking there, because like the drive-in was really cool.
At Guadalupe Mountains?
No, at Carlsbad.
Oh, at Carlsbad. Okay.
So like I think that there is more to see at Carlsbad, and I do want to go back during bat season because I want to see the bats. We want to go back to Guadalupe because we want to do. We didn't get to do. I was gonna say we didn't get to do any peak hikes at Guadalupe because everything's like 8-9 miles, and we didn't want to leave Sandy for that long. And then we may or may not go back to White Sands someday because sunsets are supposed to be amazing there. So maybe we'll go back for a sunset someday.
Yeah, I got nothing against Carlsbad Caverns. I wasn't saying that to shadow it or anything. I would go back. I would walk the cave again.
It would also be nice. They're not doing any guided tours right now. It'd be
It
nice
would be
if there
nice
was
to
a
do a guided tour. It would also be nice to be able to go back and do it together.
I also don't know if you saw, and they're not doing them right now. I think they called it lower level. There was a lower level. One of the areas that we looked down over, and you can actually do, they're not doing any guided tours right now, but sometimes they offer guided tours of that area, which I think would be cool to do as well if they ever start that up again. So yeah, we'll definitely try to go back someday. Gotta see the bats.
But I enjoyed all three. I thought all three were cool. I thought White Sands was neat just for what it was. Mm-hmm. Don't be intimidated by White Sands. We saw Priuses out there. We saw Elements out there. We saw all sorts of vehicles that aren't equipped for being super badass off-roaders, but they all worked just fine.
Where did we see the off-road Honda Element?
The off-road Honda Element was... No, I thought it was in the parking lot at Guadalupe Mountains. At the
You're
park.
Right. That was funny.
At the RV park.
So, that was our time at the national parks, and then what did we do?
Once we left, we ended up going and getting some donuts in Eunice, New Mexico during our driving.
Was that the one that the guy was from Livonia?
Only you would know that because I didn't go in.
But is that the one? I told you he was from Livonia.
Well, was it the guy that you went and saw while we were visiting Amanda?
No.
No, then
So
it had to be
Eunice.
It had to be Eunice. And we got a glazed donut, which was excellent, a chocolate donut, which I would get again, a glazed old-fashioned, which was excellent, a blueberry cake that you said was Jiffy muffin-like.
Yeah.
We got donut holes that I said were great. And then the kolache that was just a lot of bread with a pretty pitiful sausage.
A lot of bread.
But overall, the donuts were all really good. There were no donuts that I wouldn't get, and none of the donuts bothered me in any way. So, Eunice Donuts in Eunice, New Mexico, pretty solid. Then we continued driving. What? Am I going to miss something?
And I don't remember which rest area we stopped at in Texas, but we stopped at a rest area in Texas, and we saw some Roadrunners.
We did. Was it some or was it one?
I saw two.
Did you?
Yeah, after we took off, I saw a second one.
Yeah, I missed that one. You radioed me and said that you saw another one, and I didn't see it.
It was super exciting.
We love seeing Roadrunners. I think they're so neat. I love watching them. I love watching them run.
And I got to seek him.
You did. You did get to seek him, so he's on your app now.
Mm-hmm.
So we eventually made it to Grand Prairie, Texas, to meet up with one of Whitney's friends from another lifetime ago.
She met us by the interstate.
We went and got donuts and had a donut. Did we drink coffee?
Donut date, and you and I drank coffee.
You and I drank coffee. We all ate donuts. We had a coffee and donut date. The kolache was much better from JJ Donut Shop in Grand Prairie, Texas, than at Eunice. It was a much more substantial sausage, and I thought the dough was better. Mm-hmm. Got an apple fritter, which was very cinnamony. I thought it was very cinnamony. You said it wasn't very cinnamony. But it was also very tender for an apple fritter.
Yeah. Is that the one that I did say that the outside... No. Did we get another donut fritter since then? Yes. Tasty King.
Tasty King,
Yeah.
which was nowhere near as good as these. We don't need the Tasty King
This
fritters
fritter
again.
from JJ was really good. It was
really, really good.
Really soft dough, moist.
The donut holes were amazing. They gave us free donut holes. Whitney forgot to get me donut holes, but the guy at JJ Donut Shop hooked Whitney up with a free bag of donut holes that she didn't even know about. We got a blueberry cake, which I said was delicious. And I said the chocolate yeast was just average.
Mm-hmm.
And then the glazed was really good, but I didn't think I liked the glazed donut as much as the donut holes. And then the donut that stole the entire show was the cinnamon twist.
The cinnamon twist was really good. It had so much cinnamon.
The cinnamon twist was the best cinnamon twist I can think of.
Yeah.
I can't think of another that we've had that was anywhere near as good.
It was really tasty. Did you say anything about the maple bar?
No, I did not get a maple bar on here.
It was good. Average.
Maple bar.
And then the glazed old fashioned that Amanda got that we finished was really good too.
It was a very good old fashioned donut for sure. But that's the end of the return trip. We've done stuff since then that probably isn't going to make it into any episode. I guess it's worth mentioning because it might go into the best of category. We went and got Black Box ice cream today.
We did.
And I think Black Box deserves to be mentioned for best of when it comes time for the discussion.
Yeah, that was really good. And she was super nice and she gave us so many samples.
She gave us a sample of everything. She was just happy to have customers. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the flavor. I got the Little Debbie Christmas tree flavor, which was fantastic. The cookies and cream is one of the best, like top 3 cookies and cream.
And their dark chocolate.
Their dark
so
chocolate
good.
sits up there with Nestucca, which, if you've listened to any episodes with any sort of consistency, then you've heard us talk about how good the chocolate ice cream is at Nestucca.
Yeah.
And this dark chocolate ice cream was creamy, delicious, like deep chocolate flavor.
It was so good.
I'm trying to think if there's anywhere else we've been that's going to be in the best of discussion. We did go back. I was just about to say we did go back to Tasty King on our most recent trip to Madisonville to go home and see family. So.
And we went to Sweetwater Creamery.
And we went to
And
Sweetwater.
I didn't take a picture of it.
We went to Sweetwater Creamery, but Sweetwater Creamery right now is being a little overshadowed by Black Box.
Recency bias.
It might be recency bias, but it's also Sweetwater Creamery was good, but right now, if they were next to each other, I'd walk into Black Box.
Is it for the Christmas tree flavor?
No, because I would be just as happy to get cookies and cream every time we went. And the ube was really good also. I'm a big fan of ube. So, if you don't have anything else to add, the next time that people hear from us, it will be for a doozy of an episode, which is going to be the 2025 year in review.
Are we going to do a review of what we did for the year by itself and then a best of?
Yeah, it's going to be 2 separate episodes.
Okay.
That is one episode would be unhandleable.
Unhandleable. Alright. Well, that's it. I don't think we missed anything.
I don't think we missed anything. I think this will be a good episode for people that just want a little bit of insight into White Sands, Guadalupe Mountains, and Carlsbad Caverns. And then some donuts.
Always donuts.
And a rest area.
2 rest areas.
2 rest areas.
Both of which had roadrunners. One real, one not.
One 16-foot tall roadrunner and 2 normal-sized roadrunners.
Alright. Bye.
Bye.